Thank you for tuning in to the Electric Church Podcast. My name is Craig. I'm the founder of the Electric Church Podcast. This is the first episode that we recorded with Miss Britina Seberg. We had some issues with our software and used some different audio recording software and ended up being troublesome, and we had to manually transfer it, which means I had to literally play it next to a microphone onto some other software. So I apologize for the audio being a little off. Might sound a little echoey, but it's the best I could do. I didn't want to lose the conversation. So again, this conversation is with Miss Britina Seberg. We had a great time talking about how she got into being a massage therapist and what she does today as far as owning her own business. Her family down in the South, New Orleans, the food down there, some traveling, some bands we like, and some concerts we've seen. And we just had a great time just chatting about life in general. So I hope you enjoy this conversation, and I look forward to having Miss Britina back on the podcast again soon.
We'll start over again. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the first episode of the Electric Church Podcast. My name is Craig. I am the founder of the Electric Church Podcast. And joining me today, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Is Britina.
Thank you so much for coming in. Why don't you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, how you got started, and what you're doing.
Born and raised in South Minneapolis, and I have been moving north ever since. My business is called Core, like the apple core, Healing. I have been doing this work since I was 19. I had a business in St. Cloud for about 8 years, and my current business has been on Barbo Road in Brainerd, Minnesota for about 7 years. I offer body work, colon hydrotherapy, and I have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber at my office as well.
Very nice, very nice. So how did you get started in doing this, what do you call it, holistic?
Yeah,
Sorry,
holistic practitioner.
Holistic practitioner. How did you get
Natural
started
health
doing
practitioner. When I was a teenager, I was up to no good, and my mother kicked me out of the house. So I moved to St. Cloud, and my plan was to sublet an apartment for my friend who was going to Europe. During that time of my life, I loved Japanese food, loved sushi. So I was rolling around St. Cloud looking for a sushi bar because I was not going to live in a city without sushi. And I came across a place called Sakura, which was a Japanese fine dining restaurant. And I had some great sushi there. I came back a week later when I was looking for a job, and they had a now hiring sign in the window. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to work at this place. It's going to be awesome, work at the sushi bar. So the owner was a short Korean woman. I don't know why she hired me. Everyone else working there was Asian, and I was a white chick with multicolored dreadlocks during that time of my life. And the whole menu was in Japanese. Clearly, I did not know any Japanese.
No English translation.
I had to take the menu home and study it so I could translate it to the English-speaking customers.
Yeah. Wow.
So I learned a little bit there.
Yeah, that's intimidating.
Which was like almost a weird foreshadowing of my future life.
Okay.
But yeah, learned my first Japanese there. Wore a kimono, in a kimono. Had to kneel down to the tatami tables that were sunken in the floor and serve frickin' tea.
Wow.
I know. So, all right, I'm working there, and I don't even know why she kept me on, man, because we ended up fighting pretty much every day. Like every day at the end of the shift, she was shorter than me, so she'd be standing on her tiptoes, pointing her finger up at my face, saying, "Tina, Tina, Tina." And but then every day I came in for work in the morning, we would just start new, just start fresh, like no big deal.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, we'd be all stressed at each other. But either way, so I'm working there, and then I don't know if any of you guys have been a server before. You probably have. But one day I got this table, this really cool table of these really cool guys. And we were just having tons of fun. It was just like a really good vibe. And at the end of the table, this guy asked me for a business card. So I gave him a Sakura business card, and I walked away and I looked over my shoulder, and he was writing all of this stuff on this tiny card. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, what is this guy writing to me? So I go back and I pick up the check, and he takes my hand and he says, "Britina, you have such a great energy. I want you to come to my massage school in California anytime you want for free." It was a $3,000 tip.
Damn, that's insane. That's like this kind of stories you like hear about. Like, yeah, oh, this person did something for me and it made my life.
They tipped me $20 on top of it, and at that moment, I knew like that was the biggest tip I was ever gonna get in life. And I wasn't enrolled in college. I'm just working at this sushi bar. I'm like, hell yeah. This is gonna be. I'm 19. This is gonna be my first adventure. I'm going to California. I'm gonna be a massage therapist. This is gonna be sweet. I hadn't even had a massage in my life before. So I go to my boss and I'm like, I'm going to California. And she's like, "Oh, no, you're not. I forbid you to go. They're all sexual in California. You will lose your job." And I'm like, I don't even care. I'm going to go be a massage therapist. I don't even need this job, because like when you're 19, you just have that ego.
Yeah.
So I told my friends and my family, and they freaked out. My grandparents stalked him. The massage school instructor called in Mariposa, California, pretending to be something else. My family was like, "What the hell are you doing?" My friends told me I was going to get raped. I mean, nobody wanted me to go, but I called this number that he gave me, and all the information came back like he said it would. And I just had this gut feeling, literally, I'll never forget it, but it was like my stomach was telling my head, "Britina, you might not want to pass this up." And during that time, I was a runner, and I was running back to the quarries on the south side of St. Cloud. And one day, I just dropped to my knees on the earth, on the ground, and I looked up at the sky, and I was like, "Listen, I don't know who you are or what's up there, universe, God, I don't know, but you need to show me a sign, because everybody that I love doesn't want me to go, and I just got this feeling." So I freaking walk into work the next day. I get this great table of these two middle-aged ladies and this guy. And they love me. They're like, "Oh my God, Britina, what's your real job?" And I'm like, well, this is my real job. I'm probably going to go to college in the fall, but I'm thinking about going to a massage school in the summer. And the guy goes, "Oh my God, I'm a massage therapist. What school are you thinking of going to?" I said, "Have you heard of Tom Ahern's school of massage therapy?" And he was like, "Yeah. Tom Ahern writes in the Journal of Massage that I read every week. You need to go to his school. It'll be the best experience of your life." And I went straight back to a corner booth in the very, very back of the restaurant, and I sat down and I looked up and I just was like, "Thank you." That's all I needed. And I picked up a third shift job at Stearns Manufacturing, packaging life jackets overnight. And I made some extra money, and I called this guy like a week before the school started, and I said, "Hey man, I'm coming to your school." And he picked me up at the Fresno airport, and my whole life changed.
Wow. What year was this?
That was when I was 19. So 2007.
Wow. And what happened when you got to California?
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, man. I'm not 2007. 2002.
2002?
Yeah,
Okay.
I graduated college in 2006. I graduated high school in 01, so it would have been that next year.
Okay.
2002.
All right. So it's 2002. You're 19. You arrive in Fresno, California. So what was this massage school like with this?
Well, he let me just live at the massage school, like some people stay in hotels during the duration. I got a 200-hour certificate, which is the bare minimum. But he taught me a really, really, really solid routine. And he had traveled the world himself studying all kinds of modalities. So we got all types of things really mixed in. We did Qigong every morning. We got Shiatsu mixed in. We got a Reiki level 1. So we got all kinds of other modalities mixed in to this routine that he created. So he gave me a really solid routine to work from. I know it was only a 200-hour school, which is the bare minimum. However, in the state of Minnesota, that's all you need to be certified. In a state like California, you need like 1,000 hours. But either way, I came back to Minnesota, a certified massage therapist, and I don't know about you guys, but the number one way to get better at what you do is just to do it.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and instead of going to more school or getting caught up in that, you know what I did? I just started giving massages.
Sure.
And like I'm a broke college kid at that point, so I'm giving massages for nothing. But still, just getting that practice, and just the more massages you give, the better you get. And people that come to me now and ask for advice, I say the same thing. I did stay out there, though, in California. After my school, totally almost died also. When we were in school, we got so many cool opportunities because he was so tight with the Native Americans. My school was nestled in the valley of Yosemite National Park in Mariposa, California. So he was tight with these Native Americans, and they were having a bear dance ceremony, which is where some spiritual leaders go up into the mountains, you know, for revelations and for insight, and you don't really know when they're going to come back down. So you just kind of wait and party for a few days, you know, or like hold space. I mean, not party, but like hold space, you know.
Yep.
Everyone's getting together, we're holding space for these spiritual leaders to come back down from the mountain. It's called a bear dance ceremony. So we were invited via the school, via our teacher. Our teacher invited some of the students be included to the bear dance ceremony. You don't know when these guys are coming back down from the mountain. We're there all evening. It gets into the night. It gets into the wee morning hours. Finally, they come back down. And it's all mountain roads. It's those twisty, curvy, death-defying roads where there's straight up mountain, you know, to the left, and then straight drop off to the right.
Yeah.
So we're driving home in this truck that he had just fixed. And my fellow student, Stacy, was in the back seat, and I was in the front. Tom was driving, and I could tell that he was getting tired. So I start opening the window. I start turning the radio on and off. I'm having a full conversation with him, full conversation. And all of a sudden, the road curved, and we didn't go with the curve. And we dove off a cliff. And we crashed into a boulder that stopped the truck on the side that was 50 feet away from the Merced River.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, smacked my head on the side of the truck. We all crawled out, and that motherfucker was always trying to get me to stop smoking. And that cigarette, after I learned that I was alive, was the best cigarette I've ever had in my life. And I looked up at the sky, and it was the starry, starry, beautiful sky, and I had never been so happy in that moment to be alive. I had to crawl out of that truck that was just banged, smashed on the side of this rock, this huge boulder that stopped us. We crawl up the hill, up to the road, and he had some friends that had property within a few miles of that area. We walk there. We knock on doors on the property. We couldn't wake anyone up. We keep walking, and I don't even care at this point. Like, I'll walk 40 miles. I'm just happy to be alive. We're walking down this mountain road, you know, back from freaking Yosemite. And an SUV rolls by us and then rolls back. Another one of Tom's friends pick us up, bring us back to the massage school. I know. How lucky is that? The next morning, though, man, I woke up and I was not good.
Yeah.
I was
Had
not
some pains.
good. I
up a
was
bit.
crying. I was hungry, but I wouldn't eat. I couldn't eat. I felt like a train had just hit me.
Yeah. Yeah. For
My
sure.
parents, I called my parents. They were freaking out.
Yeah.
But, Tom, like, he's a healer, and he's also a chiropractor. So, honestly, he took care of me. He got me adjusted, and then whatever was bothering me, we fixed. He did Reiki on me. Like, he kind of took care of me, and rightly so. Just like, it was a good lesson for him. It was more of a lesson for him. It wasn't really meant to necessarily be as big of a lesson as for me. It was more for him because he would push it. He was like just the type of guy that like he'll push it. He'll push it all day and he'll be cool with 4 hours of sleep. Well, that's not always cool. So it was kind of more of a lesson like for him. But
Yeah.
so anyways, yeah, after the massage school, I actually cruised around California by myself for another 2 or 3 weeks. When I talked to my dad about it, to this day, he honestly thought I was never going to come back. He honestly thought that when I went out to California for massage school that he wouldn't see me again, at least for a long time. So I stayed out there and I putzed around, went and visited a cousin. Found myself at the LA bus depot at 2 a.m. Probably not a good spot for me. But I'm not scared. I think I've actually found myself in a handful of situations where maybe that wasn't the safest spot for me.
Right.
But I don't know. I just don't ever feel scared. And all of my travels, most of my travels since then have been to other countries or in the States have been alone also. So I'm just a good traveler.
You probably could take care of yourself pretty well. This is an audio podcast, but Britina's pretty built. I think she could probably outbench me.
That's true. I have been doing CrossFit for 10 years. That's like my go-to style of exercise. I did do a physique competition a couple years ago in Duluth, Minnesota Mayhem. Mm-hmm. And that was a great journey too. I never thought I would do like that kind of thing, like a physique, like bodybuilding competition. Never thought I'd do something like that. But I just had this guy at the gym who was a physique coach, and he had asked me many times if I would consider doing something like that, and I was like, no, stop talking to me. I'm freaking working out. Mm-hmm. I'm probably the most unapproachable human at the gym.
Oh, I don't know. I think a lot of us are pretty unapproachable at the gym. Yeah, there's like 2 people who I like talking to at the gym. Otherwise, it's like just nod and walk away.
Just here to work out.
I'm in the zone. Yep, exactly. Yeah.
I don't want to spend any more time here than I have to.
Yeah.
So yeah, he kept asking me, and then I think just one day I think I just was like, okay, man, I will do this. So
just to get him to shut up more than anything, or
well, no, I think
talked you into it.
Yeah, and I think it's natural for us to have like resistance to things at first, and
sure.
So I kind of think that was just like my natural human resistance to,
especially strangers.
I don't know what.
Yeah,
strangers, or just the whole process, or maybe more so for me, just the.
Well, and we're creatures of comfort.
Well, the physique, the bodybuilding thing, like just what kind of surrounds that, maybe the stigma that I had in my mind surrounding that, I was like, no, but.
Yeah.
So, I was probably a really easy client. No one needs to twist my arm to go to the gym. No one needs to run next to me, for my cardio.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much fine. I can totally eat the same thing every day, or day in, day out. That doesn't really bother me. So it's probably a pretty easy client. Furthermore, I had enough muscle where a lot of women that start their maybe physique or bodybuilding journeys have to build that muscle first.
Sure.
Where I did not have to build muscle. My coach was just like, listen, you just need to eat enough to just maintain your muscle. And then he put me on, boring bodybuilding. I mean, I'm sorry if you guys like bodybuilding, but compared to doing snatches and clean and jerks, bodybuilding is fucking boring. How many times can you do a bicep curl? Apparently 400. 400 times.
Right, yeah.
All different ways.
Yep.
So and bodybuilding's just all about, or physique is all about, physique is all about
toning.
the aesthetics. Yeah, it's all about just shaping your muscles. So, So I couldn't do any CrossFit during that time.
Yeah, or powerlifting.
Because it was, I could probably get away with a little bit of powerlifting. I mean, the power lifts are, bench press, squat, and deadlift.
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking more like max weight, 6 reps or so.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you're doing, higher
10.
reps.
Yeah.
5 sets of 20, stuff like that.
Yeah.
For sure. Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes I would just sometimes do what I wanted anyways if I was super bored. And sometimes I'd run it by him. I'd be like, hey, can I do overhead squats? Just because I'm missing it, missing it. So
For sure.
So I couldn't do any CrossFit for a while because CrossFit is too much cardio.
Mm-hmm.
So he just had me eating and shaping and maintaining my muscle.
Yep.
And then, I couldn't even ride my bike. He'd be like,
man.
what did you do this week? And I'd be like, well, I just went on an hour bike ride up to Pequot. And there was a point where he looked at me and was like, nothing. No cardio. Nothing.
Wow.
And I didn't really realize, I just kind of was just naturally do that. 'Cause I'm an active person,
I wouldn't have a clue.
And I love riding my bike, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's so much of my workout is just walking or bike or, just cardio.
Yeah, I'm going to go
just
enjoy the
guys.
outside. I just happen to do a biking, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
summertime.
it was the summertime.
Oh, yeah, I could not go for walks.
There was half a summer where I couldn't ride my bike.
Oh, that would drive me insane.
Well, so, I got good results. So,
Yeah.
And then I started it at the end of July, and then my show was early October.
Oh, so you had less than 6 months.
Oh, for sure. But
Wow.
I already had a lot of musculature,
Yep.
So
Yeah, you
I just had to cut 10 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Or whatever.
Without doing cardio.
Well, what you do is I had to stop doing all cardio because you use cardio towards the end of your journey to burn those extra calories.
Sure.
So if I would have kept doing cardio the whole time, I would have ended up having to do 2 hours of cardio a day on the other end of it.
Okay.
Because my body was so used to it.
Sure.
So stopping all that cardio and then just doing the bodybuilding,
Yep.
and then the last month
Yeah.
of
Then
my
you
prep.
drop that.
Then he started to add in a half-hour cardio every other day. Now an hour of cardio every other day. Now an hour of cardio every day. And so now I'm going to the gym twice a day. And during that time, every single week, I would do a weigh-in and pictures. And every single week, my calories went down just by a little bit.
Yep.
A little bit.
Sure.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the end of it, I'm on 1,200 calories a day. I'm doing an hour cardio and the lifting.
Yeah.
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 So by 8 o'clock at night, I was crabby.
spent, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, maybe
Yeah.
don't talk to me now.
Right? Yeah.
But I had a really great journey. I listened to a lot of the other girls who said, oh, it totally messes up your body, and you get so crabby and blah, blah, blah. And just from my natural health experience, I knew that the system in your body that was causing that to these women was your endocrine system.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I did? I am in with this supplement company called Nutridyne.
Mm-hmm.
Nutrition Dynamics, Nutridyne, fantastic company. I've been with them for years. They are a scientifically researched supplement company, and they have medical grade foods.
Mm-hmm.
Which not every supplement company has. So this is a good one. This is one you can be a member of if you're a natural health practitioner. And I knew that the owner of this company was a bodybuilder. I called him, I emailed him or called him, whatever. He emailed me a protocol. I'm like, how do I support my body the best way that I can, on this journey or whatever. So I put myself just on some really great endocrine system products, some
Sure.
supplements that I did a natural competition, so it wasn't like a weird chemical or whatever. Like a drug. And I had a great journey. I mean, at first it was tough, because you want to eat donuts, when you can't eat donuts and you want to eat donuts. But then I just got to like this mental space where I was cleansing. I just saw it as cleansing. Fat is toxins. So getting rid of fat, I just saw it as getting rid of toxicity that I didn't need. And once I found that like better mental space, I mean, it's all in how you think about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's I think when some people start like a weight loss journey, that's like getting out of that mindset of disliking the exercise. I think it's a big hurdle for those people to initially come on. A big hurdle that I initially had to come over, and I think it's a hurdle that a lot of people don't make.
It probably is.
But yeah, it's kind of tough to like put the brakes on things and yeah, to change that mindset, like, because man, when you first go to the gym, you're like, this is torture. I fucking hate this. And I was trying to explain to my girlfriend actually just today, like how like it feels like torture at first, but then eventually it's this like sadistic thing where you like the torture. Where you're like, oh, like, like leg day starts off as your worst enemy, but then eventually you're like, it's like you have this like healthy fear towards it. I don't know.
I love our bodies.
Yeah.
I think our bodies need to be honored and need to be praised and need to be thanked on a regular basis. And I think people have way too much negative self-talk.
Yeah.
And your body hears that. And I think one of my secret tricks is that I literally, during a workout, will tell my body that I am doing awesome. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, legs. Like, I pump my body up so it hears that positive feedback.
Yeah.
And I think once you get to a point where you appreciate, and when you're working out, you're celebrating your body. That's
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
This marvelous vehicle that we get to go, our souls get to go through life in. When you start celebrating your body, and you realize that you have that body that will do that leg press for you.
Yeah.
I guess I just kind of relish in that. And one of my best friends is a paraplegic, and that has made an impact on me too, because some people can't move.
Yeah.
Some people are in pain. Some
Yeah.
people don't have people can't do
Yeah.
what you and I can do in our bodies.
Right.
And if you're not using your body, that's a disservice.
Yeah.
Some people can't even do that. All they want to do is go on a freaking walk. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
right.
You're just going to sit there?
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to talk about my personal life too much, but I've seen my mother's health deteriorate, simply from, like just being obese, just years of it. And just, and it was like the simplest thing. Like, yeah, I mean, before I was a teenager, I remember my dad going for a walk every day after dinner, and my mom would always sit on the couch and watch TV, and she gets into that mindset, and I think as a lot of people do, where like you just you don't think you can change, or you think it's going to be too difficult or whatever. There's always excuses, and it's like, man, just starting there and just being active and just getting off the couch, turning off that TV.
You don't have to make it difficult.
Yeah, no,
Just
yeah.
move your body. Just move your body.
Yeah, you start slow and
Some days I don't go do a crazy CrossFit workout. Some days I just do an easy arc trainer just to move my body. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. As
Just
long
mindless,
as something, yeah.
Just something.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in like the morning workout too. Like I was saying, how early I get up. Man, I started this probably like 7 years ago, where I just would make a real simple, like jumping jacks, curls, a little bit of everything, and I do like 10-15 minutes almost every single morning. Excuse me. And like that just totally changed my mornings. I was no longer the groggy and I needed 4 Red Bulls to get going and 2 hours. Like seriously, I wake up and I do a little bit of exercise, like I said, like light weights or a light kettlebell and just some calisthenics. And it's like, man, it's like 3 cups of coffee, like your blood's flowing, you feel good. And like that changed the way that I worked out too, because before that it was like, boy, I need this long block to work out. And like, that changed everything. Like, cause
Yeah, don't make it hard on yourself.
Oh, yeah.
It's already hard.
Yeah,
Don't make
yeah.
it harder.
Yeah.
Don't make it a big deal.
Yeah.
Just do something.
Start small. Yeah.
Yeah.
Start small.
And even if during your day, even if you only have 20 minutes, just go out
Yeah.
for a 20-minute walk. That's totally acceptable.
Yeah.
That counts.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that, the hardest step is the first step. And the first thing people do is make excuses.
Because of
like
fear.
make excuses. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and it's not just exercise. We all make excuses why we can't change our lives for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah, we all have that resistance.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've come to just expect resistance.
Yeah. We're creatures of comfort, like I said before, and but complacency and comfort, nobody grows in that.
Which is something that I do admire about CrossFit is every day you go in, you're doing something uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And if you can do something out of your comfort zone every day, you're winning.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Because that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that is one thing I do admire about CrossFit is it does get you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And you don't really realize it, and all of a sudden you're doing something you didn't think you could do.
Right. Yeah.
And that kind of thing transfers to every area of life.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You if you're confident in one area, absolutely, that gives you that serotonin release and
just getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And like doing that on a regular basis, that it transfers in every area.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree. Well, should we take a little break here and we'll come back in a few minutes?
Sounds good.
All right, we are back here with Britina. So we were talking about getting out of your comfort zone, and as we're recording this, it's December 30th. So a lot of people are probably about to make New Year's resolutions and talk about how they're going to change their life. You want to talk about that a bit, or got any advice for people?
I don't make New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, me neither.
So I don't know if I have any advice on that. But I do feel like I say yes to things in life that may seem uncomfortable at first to purposely get myself out of my comfort zone. I'm a very strong believer in the benefit of that. So, some things would be traveling is a huge topic, and so much goes with that, especially if you're in another country where you don't speak the language. So much of that puts you out of your comfort zone. And then something else on a much smaller basis that I did in that kind of vein of energy was Trivia Mafia got a referral to me from a friend in the cities, and they asked me to host trivia at Roundhouse Brewery. And so you're on a microphone and you are asking all these questions. You're a DJ. You got a whole crowd. You get hecklers. You get people that argue the answer with you, which I did not know when I signed up for that gig that was going to happen as much as it freaking does. But some people just want to let you know that they're smarter.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, they have the correct answer.
Yep.
One of my favorite quotes in the world, Joe Rogan says, "Beware of people who tell you they know the truth."
Sure.
And he just said it one day at his podcast. I doubt he even remembers saying it. But, man, I love that quote. Because, like, if you're confident that you're right, Yeah, you're probably not. I don't know. You should at least be open-minded to changing your mind.
Might just not be a human that you want to spend a lot of energy on.
Right, yeah.
Might not be worth it.
Right, yeah.
So it's it was I'm not a trivia person at all, but I did it just to kind of like get myself out of my comfort zone, because honestly, you never know when you're going to have to give a speech in front of a bunch of people on a microphone. And it's just something that's kind of good to be used to once in a while.
Right.
So,
Or do a podcast on short notice.
and I mean, and that was me probably outwitting myself because Craig did ask me yesterday, and then he's like, just, like a Monday, that's good for you. What are some dates? And today's Monday, and I'm like,
Today?
I'm done. How about today? How about we just do this today? Like, I'm feeling the vibration. Let's just do it.
Right.
Do it today. If I put it off long enough, I'll just get in my head, right? So I just thought, let's just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I think traveling is a big one to get you out of your comfort zone for sure. And
So where have you traveled to? When was the last trip you took?
the last trip I took was to New Orleans. I go down there about 2 or 3 times a year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Surprisingly, I should be fatter.
I need to become better friends with you.
Do you like New Orleans?
Oh my God, I've dreamed of going to New Orleans since I discovered jazz at 16 years old.
Man, if I would have known that, I would have definitely taken you
It's
by
not
now.
like I can go anywhere.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I've got one day. I've got one day. I've got Monday. I can get on a plane on Sunday, and then I got Monday, and then I have to get on the plane and come back and be back Tuesday.
I don't know, man. You own your own business. You control the hours. So
Yeah, that's true. I've shut down for bad roads. I guess I could shut down for a trip to New Orleans. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, you're doing this for your soul. You're doing it to make you a better human, a better cook, a better boyfriend, a better father.
That's
why you're doing it.
That's a very good point.
We're not put on this earth to work our asses off. I know that for a fact.
Yeah?
That's not why we're here. No.
Well, so what do you think we're here for? I mean,
to enjoy
not
the earth.
Okay.
For the earth.
Yeah.
We have a huge, beautiful planet of amazing cultures and food.
Sure.
And experiences to feel and see and do.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Sure. Yeah.
You work enough to explore the earth. And to honor the earth, to honor this beautiful planet.
Yeah.
Like traveling and adventuring her is, I think, just one way that we can pay our respects. And I think that's why we're here.
Cool.
Is to explore the earth, truly.
Yeah.
Why else would we have this beautiful planet?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
No.
Very passionate.
No, I love that. No, thank God. Like, people need to be passionate.
That's why we're here. We're here to explore the earth.
So I haven't been able to.
We have a Garden of Eden, and we don't even realize it.
I have not been very fortunate to do nearly as much traveling as you. I go to Alaska every year to get my daughter. Other than that,
Alaska's on my bucket list. I haven't been there. I love seeing animals in the wild. I get a kick out of it.
In the wild, the biggest damn animal I ever saw in my life, I saw on 9th Street, right downtown in Anchorage.
Cool.
Moose. Big.
That's what I want.
Like, you couldn't believe it. Like, it was eating crab apples off a dwarf crabapple tree, right? So the top of the tree is about 16, maybe 20 feet tall. The moose was almost as tall as the tree. I mean, it was.
That's awesome.
It was insane. Like, you cannot comprehend how big a moose is until you actually see one. Just insane.
That's exactly why I want to go to Alaska.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I have envisioned.
Yeah.
From my experience in Alaska.
Yeah, and then it's just like mountains. Like when you pull into Anchorage, it's like there's like the sea, and then there's like this marshy muddy land, right? That it's like the flood, where the tide comes in and out, and then there's like flat Anchorage, and then literally there's no suburbs. It's just like mountains, like right outside, and then it's just endless mountains. That's what you see when you're pulling in when you're flying. It's one of the craziest scenes I've ever seen. But
And spectacular.
yeah, it's all right. Last time I was there, I ran into some very unfriendly homeless people and almost walked into a pretty dangerous situation. So Anchorage is weird. I also I don't get to experience Alaska in a fun way. I go there and I've got a 4 to a 26-hour layover, and then I'm getting on a plane and coming home. So I'm just there to pick her up, and I don't get to enjoy Alaska when I fly there.
You're definitely going to New Orleans then.
I I appreciate the sentiment, but tell me about New Orleans. Tell me about it. What's the last?
What do I like about it? Last time I was there was 12 days ago. I was there for 5 days. Half my family lives in the South, and they're not coming up here. So
I don't blame them.
I get my butt down there.
Yeah.
So we either rendezvous in Nashville or in New Orleans. So I get down there about 2 or 3 times a year, and so what do I like about it? Culture. I currently live in a town where there is no culture.
No comment.
And I go to New Orleans, and I am reminded just of people, of the fact that down there, everyone, every different type of body is eating the same food, walking the same walk, dancing the same dance.
Still eating red beans and rice on Mondays.
Or shrimp and grits, which is my personal fave.
Yeah.
But they all are doing it together. All different types of people doing it together. And a lot of the major businesses down there, like, for example, the House of Blues, all their mottos are about oneness. And this may not be an accurate statement, systemically, but just people to people, everyone vibes with each other, and nobody cares what you look like.
Sure.
Or who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, it's truly a melting pot, like a mini melting pot.
Yeah.
And I really like the oneness vibe. And the French Quarter, as many times as I've been there, you'd think it would be old right now, but God, there's something about it. All of these boutiques, all of these different shops, all these different restaurants and bars, and then what makes it is the architecture. The architecture of the French Quarter is one of a kind, and you'll be walking down the street, and there's all kinds of street performers. There's a girl on the corner that's selling poems. You need a poem? You want a poem? I'll write you a poem in 5 minutes for $5, There's a mime, like a crazy looking mime that you thought was a statue, and then all of a sudden it starts doing its act. There's a band that just breaks out in the middle of the street. There's kids that are hitting on more industrial type objects, like making a good freaking beat and breakdancing. And there's a crowd of people around them. And of all the times that I've gone to the French Quarter, it was very apparent this time where I was didn't really put it on my list. But of course, I ended up going down there. I go on walkabouts. That's the biggest way that I tour New Orleans is by foot. I just go on walkabouts, either by myself or if someone wants to come with me, great. And I explore it on foot. And so I'm walking to the French Quarter, and it never gets old. You can just feel it. You can feel when you're getting close. You can feel it is a high vibrating energy. You can feel that energy. That city never sleeps, and it just feels good as you get close to the French Quarter. And it's oh hell yeah, that's right. I'm in New Orleans. Yep.
Nice.
I'm in the French Quarter. It's fun down there.
Yeah.
So I have fun going to the French Quarter. There's Frenchman Street, and I'm a sucker for live music. So you just walk up and down that street. And this past time, my latest hobby is craft beer. So this past time, I dropped in at a couple craft breweries and, of course, a couple CrossFits.
Nice.
We also moved my sister into a house with her husband, and we toured a plantation.
Oh.
So we got to get out of New Orleans
Yeah.
and get into the country of Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
which is different and I think more racist. But like I said, everyone kind of gets along with each other, but I think the racism is just more systemic,
Sure.
just built into the laws,
Yeah.
for example.
Yep.
just how people are treated
Yeah.
when they commit a crime.
And Jim Crow laws are, what, 50-some years old before they were... Yeah.
See, that's
Just less
what,
than 50
like,
years ago.
going to this plantation.
That's, less than one person's lifetime. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what blew me away. Like,
Yeah.
that just, like, not like I didn't realize it before, but this didn't end very long ago.
Yeah. I spent one winter I lived out with some friends' family in Washington State, and you think of the Pacific Northwest, you think of like, really progressive liberal, and I was amazed, like there was like, well, first of all, I was amazed like the poor infrastructure of everything. The roads were just garbage, and then there was just like shacks, like.
Yeah.
Like very rednecky shack houses with like Confederate flags, and it was the most surreal experience. This one time, I was working at this casino, and I was going to see this band in Portland called the Bad Plus. It's a jazz band out of Minneapolis. It's with 3 white dudes from Minneapolis, and so I was talking to this coworker. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go see this band, the Bad Plus. It's like, you ever listen to jazz? And he just looked at me dead in the eyes and was like, I would never listen to music made by N-words.
Damn.
Yeah, like, whoa, you think of like you say, you think of the Pacific Northwest, you think of highly progressive. It's crazy sometimes, like that sort of rural ness sort of exists, I think, a little bit everywhere.
Yes, I agree. I see what you're saying, but it didn't really end that long ago.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I'm just going to be patient, because you need to give things like this
Time.
ample amounts of time with shifting an entire society.
Yep.
So
yeah, I think as long as, like I said, like we're aware of it, and like I said, at least that was shocking to me to hear that from somebody, right?
when I first got my dreadlocks when I was 16, my grandpa said you look like that's what he said to me. I'm like, thanks, Grandpa.
For sure, and I mean, this person wasn't like dramatically older than me or anything, like wasn't like an old guy saying it. It was just some other 20-some-year-old kid who was like, yeah, I don't know, it's weird. You like that beer? She's enjoying a Star Grazer from Bauhaus.
I'm nursing it. That's what I'm doing.
I already pounded mine. I'm drinking mostly coffee.
I see that. I just recently started working at Roundhouse Brewery. Shout out to the most fun job ever. I don't know if I should say this on air, but so I get to enjoy delicious craft beer while I'm working. And most of the time, I'm watching the Vikings game or listening to great music.
Yeah.
And pouring beers.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't own the business.
Sounds like the greatest job in the world.
It is really fun. And the company's amazing. The owners are amazing. Everyone that works there enjoys and has pride in their job, which I don't think that you find everywhere. But so I'm 2 months plus into that. And so now I'm into craft beer.
Yeah.
You can take, they suggest that you take some tests, get some certs about beer, right?
Sure.
So I take them, and you just learned. I was never a craft beer drinker. Furthermore, I only drank like what felt easy in my belly. Like I went for drinkability because nobody wants to go out and then just feel bloated.
Yeah.
So I would go with what felt good in my body, in my belly. So I'm convinced now, since I seem to now be able to drink any beer, that there's a complete learning curve with the ecosystem in your gut.
For sure.
And the bacteria.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've learned is that craft beer isn't pasteurized, so all of the gut-friendly bacteria are still intact. So I'm doing a little experiment. I'm not taking any probiotics. I'm not eating fermented foods with my meals. I am balancing the ecosystem in my gut via craft beer.
Nice. How long have you been conducting this experiment?
2 months.
Going well?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I haven't tested, the colonies of flora in my
Well,
gut, but
yeah, I mean, you can tell.
I
Like,
can
you would-
definitely drink any beer now and not burp,
Wow.
which I feel like is a shift.
Yeah, I heard. Well, I think craft beer in general, I think, is a lot less carbonated mostly. But
Yeah, it could have to do with the pour.
Yeah, but I've
the
also
glass,
heard like if you roll up a napkin and stick it in the beer, it releases a bunch of the carbon, which is what makes you feel bloated, is having all this carbon in your belly.
You know what someone told me when I was 16?
What?
If I took the grease with my pinky
Oh yeah.
along the side of my nose
Sure.
and ran it in a circle in the head of the beer,
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
head would disappear.
Yeah.
Not true.
No.
That is complete bullshit. Are you kidding me?
I mean.
So I'm just saying, really, the napkin.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like.
I mean, I wasn't giving it any sort of validity. It was just something I heard. I don't drink a lot of beer. I don't drink much. So, yeah, and when I do drink beer, yeah, it would definitely be 1 or 2 and I'm done. And that probably is mostly because not only because I would be full, but also just totally being calorie conscious. Yeah. And
Yeah.
carb conscious.
Yeah. My diet is protein, some vegetables, and craft beer.
Yeah.
And I don't count calories.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't.
am not a good person to ask even about food. All this fitness stuff I do, I don't even follow a diet. I just ate a whole burger
Yeah.
before this podcast.
Yeah, no, I don't count calories. I just try to be sort of aware of reaching sort of that daily calorie limit. You know what I mean? If I drink 4 craft beers, I would calculate in my head that's an entire meal of carbs.
Oh, for sure. I think
You know.
sometimes I just treat it as my meal.
I've done that too.
One thing I am aware of, though, now that you bring up that, is I am pretty good at being aware of macros. So it's pretty common for me if I order a restaurant, I'll get a burger or pasta or whatever, and then I just have them throw a grilled chicken breast on the side. So at least my fat and carbs and protein
Yeah,
kind of more, at least on the protein side. And
Yep.
if I eat that, then I'll maybe eat less of the
for sure.
rest of the meal that might be more calorie dense and not as good for me.
Yeah.
So I am pretty good at that. I do eat all throughout the day. 5 meals a day, 5 small meals. I overeat, get full, maybe once a week. I'm not a huge into eating a big meal type person.
Yeah.
Either. So I think I'm the smaller, kind of typical smaller meal, have an awareness of my macros
Yeah.
type of human.
Yeah, I had to learn to control my portions. And last January, it's just almost shy of a year ago, I did keto for 30 days, which really helped me be more aware of not only how much I'm eating, but sort of that macros of taking in high protein, good carbohydrates, and avoiding those sugary carbs.
I think people should track their food
Yeah.
for a week or two.
Right.
Because it really does.
You would really be surprised.
You'd really be surprised if you haven't
for
done
sure.
it yet. It is
Yeah.
a good tool.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a good snapshot.
There's a difference between eating 6 cookies and eating 6 cookies and writing it down. When you look at that piece of paper and you're like, wow, on top of all the other stuff I had today, which might be up and down, I don't think I'm the only one out there who's ever smashed 6 cookies fresh out of the oven.
True. I also am good at, I bring food with me to work, or if I'm going to drive for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm good at doing that, so I have it, and then I don't waste money on bad choices.
Yeah. When I always try to have nuts in my car, stuff like that. Yeah.
Are you still doing keto?
Oh God, no. I did that for those 30 days. it was, like I said, it really helped like reset my relationship with food, especially being able to do like the long intermittent fasts. Longest fast I did was 40 hours, and felt fine, felt great.
Working at the restaurant?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to like plan out your prep for sure, because you can't like because you do have to taste everything. So yeah, you you make your food in bulk, because it's like, okay, I don't want to, I don't have to taste, if I'm making the bread, I don't have to taste that. If I'm roasting meat, I don't have to worry about tasting that when it comes out. But yeah, like making sauces, gravies, sauteing vegetables, things like that. Yeah, you just work it out. But yeah, also, that also, Sunday through Monday is 24 plus hours, you know.
Where you're not cooking.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was mostly like, I would do like generally about 18 to 20 hours most days. So, my last meal was just like in the afternoon,
18 to 20 hours fasting?
Yeah. Like, and I know it does sound crazy, like.
It doesn't sound crazy. I mean, that's a popular thing right now. It's the intermittent fasting, but I just feel like I'd just be freaking hungry. Like,
Yeah,
how do you work out? I would just suck at CrossFit.
Well, yeah, well, you generally work out directly after you have your first meal. Some people do work out in a fast, which
you can
you
do.
can,
You just
absolutely
don't feel great.
You definitely don't have the oomph, I'll spend 2 hours at the gym sometime, and there's no way I would be able to do a 2 hour workout at the gym on a long fast like that. But after a while, like, you don't even, like I said, that was I kind of changed my relationship with my body, that I don't get that sort of extreme hunger. 10 years ago, before I got into eating better and exercising, I would be up late, probably drinking, have something to eat, and wake up 8 hours later starving, and now 10, 12 hours doesn't feel difficult at all, even if I'm having splurged on carbs, and then if I'm eating well and I'm eating a lot of vegetables and protein, then a long fast is really easy. Yeah.
I'm trying to go more plant-based, just more veggies. No, cut out dairy and more veggies, and kind of try that.
Yeah. I've tried to cut out all dairy that isn't fermented, but I can't get away from the biscuits and gravy. But that's mostly chicken stock, so it's cooked cream at least. There's just a little bit of cream in there.
I guess I'm going to come in and try the biscuits and gravy, because you've mentioned them twice.
Yeah. It's, they keep me fat for sure. For sure. I need to not play with that pen on the table. That's going to catch up on the audio.
I'd be fat if I lived in Nolans and ate shrimp and grits every day.
Right.
That's my go-to meal down there.
Yeah.
Shrimp and grits.
Shrimp and grits.
Cheddar grits.
Cheddar grits.
Yeah.
Is there cream in there too?
There's cream and a stick of butter.
Everything. Yeah. yeah, okay. Yeah, it's New Orleans. What was I thinking?
Yeah, you can't not come back 5 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was down there twice in August, and then just recently. And in between the New Orleans trips in August, I unexpectedly said yes to a San Francisco trip.
Nice.
I know, because I'm kind of that friend.
Yeah, just
where it's
jet
like,
set, huh?
So I was just thinking about going on this. Well, what happened was, just my friend who's in a wheelchair was. We had planned to hang out on a weekend in August, So I'm talking to him, and I'm thinking I'm just going to go down to St. Paul, right? Like normal, hang out at the Bulldog. And so he goes, well, Lollapalooza, is going on. And, like, that's a music festival in Chicago, I'm thinking in my head.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, but it's so hard to get around. And then he goes, but Outside Lands is going on. So I Google it. San Francisco. He wants to, like, hang out. Like, he's in between classes, his semesters. He wants to, like, actually, like, go on a trip. So I'm like, of course, we're going VIP, which is always how he rolls. So he's a fun friend to have.
Right.
Because, I mean, who's going to say no to that? So plan that, like, I think we had it, like, planned a week out, actually. And Outside Lands is, it's a music festival in the Golden Gate Park. But the cool thing about this year's Outside Lands was it was the first festival on public land where everything cannabis was legal.
Nice.
You could smoke it, you could eat it,
Yeah.
you could drink it,
Yeah.
you could sell it, everything.
Yeah.
There was one point where I was thirsty. Like, so I just need some water.
I can't imagine
Like,
why.
I just need some water. And the only water that I could find
weed water?
had 10 milligrams of THC in it. And so I'm like, well, this is the only water, So I get some, okay, whatever. And I'm drinking it. I'm like, I can't do this.
Right.
Like, I'm just getting
Eating
higher
brownies 'cause
with
you're hungry.
every sip. Like, I can't even, like, drink this. So I just, like, set the water down and, like, walked away.
Oh, man.
But saw some,
Yeah, they go ham out in California, don't they?
well, and so many cool bands. Totally so many cool bands. But the one that probably made the biggest impression on me was
Thinking.
because all of a sudden I just can't remember it.
Blanked on it.
Yeah.
Want to Google the lineup? There you go.
I'm just gonna kick myself here.
What did they sound like? Was it like
It's
jazzy,
I would have
bluesy?
never seen this act if it wasn't for my friend who was like, we have to go see Puddle's Pity Party.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So I had no idea what is it called? It's called like a modern jukebox style of music.
Yeah, it's like a throwback.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't heard of it, just Google the song by Lorde, Puddle's Pity Party.
Yeah.
It's called. It's like the We Were Kings song or whatever.
Yep. Royals.
Royals. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So just Google that song, and a
Puddles
big
is
6'5" white clown
Yeah.
will come out and
like
sing this
classic
in an
30s
actually
looking.
amazing voice. He has like a very amazing formal voice.
Yeah.
With these backup singers. So he's performing. This is the one show that Gennady wants to see, and I'm like, all right. So, I'm going to do this. It's my friend. I'll watch this clown. So he's presenting in a circus tent. They had this, it was the only inside show, and they had the whole thing looking like this circus tent with these heavy, dark red and purple drapes, just like you would picture. And there he is, this 6.5-foot clown, dressed in white, face painted white, everything up on stage. The first thing he does is his first song, the half of his first song, the opening act, he goes down on the floor and he takes everybody on the right side sitting on the floor's cell phones and gives them to people sitting on the left side. And he takes everyone's cell phones of people sitting on the left side and he gives them to people sitting on the right side. All right, and then that's confusing for everyone. Now everybody on the whole floor, after he's done scrambling people, is up trying to figure out who's got their phone.
Yeah.
So that was entertaining. I was sitting back in the booth or whatever, just watching that mayhem, which was a great spot to be. And so then a few songs later, he finds the most awkward, awkward emo jock guy that he can.
Yeah.
Like with a t-shirt that says like sports on it. Like just generic looking guy, right?
Yeah.
Brings him up on stage and forced him to eat buns while he sang a song. So awkward.
Yeah.
It was like weird. It was so weird, but it was like weirdly entertaining. It was dark.
Yeah.
It was dark. Like it was David Lynch-ish, you know? It was
Yeah,
like dark.
yeah.
In that dark, and you know the Red Room? You know, in Twin Peaks or whatever,
Yeah.
kind of like David Lynch kind of has a like famous thing with the Red Room.
Yeah.
This circus, this was this Red Room, this deep, just red and black. Like we got a fantastic Red Room like mock picture. But yeah, so this guy, he makes this guy sit up on stage and just eat buns through the whole song. And right at the end, when he kind of puts his arm around him and stands him up and is like, thanks him, you know, for being a good sport and eating all those buns. Just white buns, just like regular, just generic white buns. Bun after bun after bun. Small buns, you know, not like hamburger buns, like more of like the small Hawaiian roll size buns.
Yeah.
So just bun after bun. So he's putting his arm around him, like thanking him. And I zoomed in on my camera, and I got the best picture of this guy looking up at this clown, just scared, shitless, just like, what just happened to me?
Just force-fed carbs.
Just so scared. His eyes bulging out of his sockets.
Oh, my God.
Perfect picture.
Yeah. Like scared to not eat the buns.
But my scared to not, totally.
Yeah, eating buns out of pure fear. God, I'm ruining my diet right now.
It was odd. And of course, after we had to get a picture with Puddles, which we got an amazing picture.
Nice.
So then I think it was the next morning we're eating breakfast, drinking scotch. Both of us have the same taste in food and booze, which makes things easier. So he goes, we're talking about the day or whatever, and my friend goes, I want to meet Santa Gold. Now, I don't know if y'all know who Santa Gold is, but Santy, if you don't, Google her. She is one of my favorite musicians, my friend's favorite musicians. We have traveled around the United States like going to her shows. Santa Gold. We have like followed Santa Gold. So she's at this festival, so it's all the more fitting that we are there together. She's playing that day, and he goes, I want to meet Santa Gold. And I'm like, all right, we can do this. All right, yeah, let's meet this musician. Why the hell not? So he goes, well, we gotta bring her a present. And I was like, oh my God, way to be on that girls love presents. Like, what a fantastic idea. I was just like, way to be, that's perfect. Like, way to be on that, man.
Right.
So I walked my ass down a block in the city of San Francisco. We're staying downtown. I Google florist, walk down, pick up a beautiful bouquet. So then we hop in an Uber. We get to this festival. I got this beautiful bouquet of flowers. And I'm scoping it out, right? He's over in the handicap overlook area. They get like this high raised platform, whatever, side of the stage. Good view. I'm over in the VIP section, and I got the bar right behind me, and then I'm pretty close to the stage, and there wasn't a lot of people. So I'm kind of scoping it out like, all right, how are we going to meet this musician, you know, because they don't just come hang out. They're behind closed doors in the back, and you got to get through tons of levels of security, and Golden Gate Park and outside lands, and, you know, I'm even in the VIP area with all the barriers, you're still 20 feet from the stage. You know, you're nowhere close.
Yeah.
But either way, I just figured it was like the best possible access, or the closest we could at least get to anything resembling the backstage. So I wave him over. She plays an amazing set. I mean, we just danced our asses off for an hour. It was everything that we wanted to be. It was the hot, hot sun, the middle of the day in San Francisco in August. And she's great, as usual. And after she was done with her set, you know, everyone kind of clears out. And we just stayed. So we're trying to work it with the security guards, like, hey, we really want to meet her, blah, blah, like just trying to do whatever we can. We just want to get these flowers to her. I mean, really, we were just like, well, can we just at least get the flowers to her, right? And they're like, oh, well, I'll go ask this person, and oh, we'll bring this person over for you. And we kept seemingly climbing the ladder, of security clearances, but
Sure.
we still weren't really getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, this guy comes over. And he goes, so you want to meet Santi? And we're like, yes. And he goes, I am, used to be her costume designer. I am in contact with her personal assistant right now. So maybe if we wait. And we're like,
Okay.
okay, just waiting. And we waited. And all of a sudden, she came out. And I handed my phone off, and this hand came in the middle of the circle of people and grabbed my phone. And I happened to hand it off to an amazing photographer that got video of us hanging out with her, talking to her, having a whole conversation, give her the flowers. We got group pictures. Like,
Wow.
we manifested that, rock star. Like,
Yeah.
we did that. We did. That shit does not happen. Like, that was a breakthrough right there in the universal fabric. Like, we manifested that. And it was amazing. I mean, I felt one of the most amazing highs in my life.
Nice.
And yeah. And
Yeah, you get lucky.
just it just with physics, with energy, it's going to expand.
Yeah,
Energy
yeah.
expands in both directions.
Right.
So I felt that amazing high, and believe me,
Well, you brought
there was a
flowers.
low that came after it or whatever,
Right.
but
You brought flowers and good intent, So
and that's
good,
all you need.
Yeah, those good vibes vibrate out, Like, I think if you brought chloroform and flowers and bad intent, you probably wouldn't have climbed up that ladder.
It was so neat, though. It just made me
For
think
anybody
like,
listening that has bad ideas on how to meet a rock star.
when in that moment, I was thinking in my head, Britina, like, if you can manifest Santa Gold, what else do you think you can manifest?
I got really lucky, since we're talking about meeting rock stars for a minute. I got really lucky once and met most of the guys from Gov't Mule, who I'm a big fan of. They did a Halloween show at the O'Shaughnessy Theater in 2007, I want to say. 2007, 2008. It's a Halloween night. Yeah, I think 2007, because Olivia's mother was pregnant with Olivia. So Olivia was at this show in utero as well. We were at this Halloween show in Minneapolis, and then we were going, it was like 2 nights later they were in Des Moines. So we got this poster of the Halloween show. It was called The Holy Haunted House. Their second set was the entire Houses of the Holy album from beginning to end. They do a Halloween show ever since then, where they like pay tribute to
And you got to meet him.
So in Des Moines the next night, there's their bus, here's the parking lot, and here's the venue. There's nothing separating. And,
It's like Fargo.
Yeah, exactly.
The venues in Fargo are like that, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I met Josh O'May in Fargo.
Right.
It's because,
How can you not run into the band?
Yeah, how do you not run into the band? So, yeah, it's like literally like, okay, well, here's the stage entry door on the side. Literally, after the show, we just, run out as fast as we can out of the venue and just stand by the back door. Stand by the stage door. Boom, first person to come out is the drummer, Matt Asp. I'm just like, Matt, can you sign this poster? Boom, he signs it, gets on the bus. Warren and who is it? Andy Hass, I think, was the bassist at the time. And so I got 3, but there's 4 members. There's the keyboardist. He got on the bus before anybody. He got out there before we could get out there. And so we're sitting there with I think their stage man or something was wandering around, and I was like, hey, can we get Danny to like sign this poster for us? Like, I got 3 out of 4, and Grace Potter was the opening act. I had her sign it as well. So stage manager, he goes on the bus and, obviously talks to Danny, and Danny won't come out to sign it, but the stage manager comes out and he's like, give me the poster and I'll bring it in for him to sign. So at least I got that. So I got, this beautiful poster with all 4 members of the band, and Grace Potter signed it. And then I brought it to my parents for safekeeping, where they immediately misplaced it for 11 years. And my mom found it this summer, and she framed it and gave it to me for Christmas. So it's like the greatest.
You just got it back.
I just got it back. So
that's cool.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I was just hanging it up earlier today on the wall. It was very satisfying. Like, oh, you're home.
Oh, yeah. After 11 years, you kiss that sucker goodbye.
Oh, man.
Walking back into your life.
Yeah, like there was, 300 of those posters were printed, and I'm sure one of them was signed by all 4 members and Grace Potter. Yeah, and I had kissed it goodbye, absolutely. So, yes, it was a magical thing coming back into my life for sure.
No, that was magical. I am a sucker for live music.
Yeah, me too.
Yep, I love going to concerts. I love seeing bands.
What was the first concert you ever went to?
Oh, I'm not even going to say that.
Oh, no?
On a freaking pod. I am not even going to share that wonderful tidbit.
No? Well,
Immigrant.
I will admit that my first concert was Cinderella at the Delwyn Ballroom in 1996. They were already playing the Delwyn Ballroom in 1996. Yeah. It was a good show, though. I mean, I remember it as a good show. It was 23 years ago. I was 16. But I remember having a good time. I remember Rolling Rock was...
It was cool going to a show, but...
Yeah.
Amy Grant,
I remember... One of the things I remember most about that show was... Rolling Rock was a really popular beer at the time. And so there was all these people sitting in these booths drinking Rolling Rock, and these empty bottles of, green Rolling Rock. Yeah, those green bottles were just piling up in the booths, people drinking Rolling Rocks. That's definitely one of the stronger memories of that concert, for sure. So what was the best concert you ever saw?
I really don't know. Because I feel like I've definitely seen a lot of shows.
How many bands do you think you've seen?
Oh, I have no idea.
No?
I mean, I grew up during the Edge Fest, for sure. Edge Fest and the X Fest and all those. So there you
made it to 10K a bunch of years. Bonnaroo once, Swanee once. And it's like, God, just between...
One of the first Harvest Fests when it was
that's 100
fun.
bands between all of those festivals that I saw for sure, yeah.
Well, and I grew up in South Minneapolis, so I grew up by the Quest and First Ave.
Nice. Yeah. You get to see Prince?
Nope.
No, damn. Yeah, he was on my bucket list. I never got to see him. I've seen Bob Dylan 5 times. I saw the Allman Brothers twice. And the Prince was like the third big bucket list sort of act that I had, and I never got to see him before he died. I never would have imagined that Greg Allman and Bob Dylan would have outlived Prince. Actually, I don't think Greg Allman did, but I got to see him.
My mom was really into Prince. Was more into Prince than I was.
Okay.
The most recent, probably amazing show that I went to. She's a groupie. She's a groupie. She's into music. That's where I got my music thing from. Yeah. So, and she's a groupie.
Huh. Yeah.
And Prince is.
Yep.
If you're hanging out with a band, and you're going to the shows with them, you're gonna get to know a bunch of other people in the music scene.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think it's more so of that kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Paul Simon, though, played in San Francisco. probably one of his last shows.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
They were tearing down the stage, and he picked up his guitar and he played like 8 more songs.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That show, like people were crying.
So you're serious? He's like retiring from touring or what?
I'm pretty sure that was probably one of his last shows. I would bet on it. I have not researched it, but yeah, he's getting
just kind of the vibe you got.
And he's old.
Yeah. I saw Bob Dylan and Paul Simon back in
That's cool.
99, 2000, something like that. It was like July 3rd. It was very cool. Yeah, they were doing this co-headlining thing where, one night one would headline, the other night the other would headline. Yeah, it was a very cool show, for sure. Yeah, it was at Bayfront Park. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very, very fun.
Good
for
venue.
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that was like, I saw Bob Dylan twice in the booth. That was his first 2 shows. His one before that was like less than a year before that at the Deck Center. Yeah, I took my dad to that show. I think that was the first concert he was ever at. He was 40-some years old. I took him to his first concert. 49, 50 years old. And I
I took my dad to Santana.
Ooh, that must have been fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had fun.
Yeah.
Ate a whole pizza on the ride home. My mom was like, "What did you do to your father?"
Dad get a little stoned or what?
But no, it was a blast, and it was something that his kids did for him,
Yeah.
So, took him to that show. Yeah.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
I think, though, still like the one person that I'd want to have lunch with or just fantasize about being in a band with is Bob Marley.
Oh.
I'm just a huge Bob Marley fan, and I feel like I quite possibly was a reggae singer in a past life.
What? What got you into Bob Marley?
I just like reggae.
Well,
I like the beat of reggae.
Do you remember discovering Bob Marley or reggae for the first time?
I don't know if I
back there.
like. I mean, I would have to on the spot. I don't. It might be something that comes to me later. But it probably more so started with Sublime.
Okay.
I think I was, or I know. I don't think I was. I know every lyric to every song by Sublime, and I think from there, that led to Bob Marley and Dreadlocks.
Nice. Yeah.
And I just love his message. I love reggae music. I love the beat of reggae music. It's so easy. It's relaxing. It's chill, and it's no worries.
Yeah.
And that's the vibration that feels the best to me.
Sure.
And yeah, his message, I think he was before his time. And I think people don't understand how free they are. And it's about freedom in your mind. And I think if there's one message that I could help spread, it would be that one. It would be about true freedom. The freedom in your mind that nobody can take away. People don't realize that they can choose to see and feel however they're going to choose to see and feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I guess his message really resonates with me, and
sure.
Yeah, so I think I feel, because of some, I take as universal signals, universal messages in the past 2 weeks. I think the next place I'll be going to, actually I know the next place I'll be going to is Jamaica.
Nice.
Yeah, I've wanted to go there since I was a kid. And I forgot, Craig. It was like I forgot for 10 years. It was super weird. All of my country reports were on Jamaica. I did big reports on reggae music when I was a kid, like Yeah, so I guess it goes back even farther than when I was like 14 listening to Sublime.
Sure.
It goes back to from when I was a kid in school, and
Yeah.
I for some reason liked Jamaica and reggae music back then. That's so weird. I just thought about that now. Just it goes back even farther, and I just always had this feeling like if I went to Jamaica, I would never come back. So I told myself that I could only go to Jamaica when I was ready to die on the top of a mountain overlooking the ocean with dreadlocks. And so I just put it out of my mind, put it completely out of my mind. So then I go to New Orleans, right? 12 days ago. Last day I'm there, meet this black guy with dreadlocks. He asked me when I'm coming back to New Orleans. I don't know. And this voice in my head goes, Britina, where do you want to go? Because I go down south, not because New Orleans is my favorite place. It's because that's where my family is, and I go to see my family.
Sure.
But where do I want to go? And all of a sudden, I remembered, I want to go to Jamaica. Of all the places that I have traveled to, I haven't been to the one place that I always knew I needed to go. So, boom, revelation. So then, of course, the next day I'm Googling flights. Then the next day I go to work at Roundhouse. And this ex-employee's there, and we're talking about traveling. And she goes, well, the next trip I'm going to plan is to Jamaica in March. And I'm like, well, if you find a cheap ticket, let me know. The next day I walk in for work at Roundhouse. There's a musician there. He plays like 5 Bob Marley songs. I'm like, sweet. Young guy, young musician, a handful of Bob Marley songs. I get in my car to drive home. I put on a playlist from Crook Colors that I had never listened to before. Freaking handful of Bob Marley songs. I get home and I'm standing in my kitchen. I'm finally beginning to like realize you're going to Jamaica, girl.
Yeah.
Like sooner rather than later, you're going to fucking Jamaica. And I look through this cutout in my wall towards the window where I have a big picture of Bob Marley. It was just so weird though, because I just forgot. Like the one place I forgot for like a whole decade that's the one place I always wanted to go to. And I'm not saying I'm ready to die. Like, don't take it like that. I'm not like saying I'm ready to die. I'm just saying I'm very drawn to Jamaica, and I feel it's in my vortex soon.
Right. Plans change for sure.
So
well, that's very cool. Yeah. The band I mentioned earlier, Gov't Mule, does an island exodus every year in like February or March, actually, where it's like 3 days of concerts.
In Jamaica?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No. Yeah, it's like it's a package deal where you stay at a resort and you buy it's like 3 days.
What kind of music is this band? What kind of music is this festival?
Well, it's just them, and they probably have an opening act or something.
What kind of music?
It's like very blues and jazz heavy
Jam
rock
bandy?
and roll. Yeah.
Jam bandy.
For sure. Warren once said in an interview that they're not a jam band, they're a band that jams. So, I mean, they'll, like, I don't know, it doesn't...
I'm just going to have to Google them.
Yeah, for sure. It's very bluesy, but it doesn't feel like musical masturbation. Like, I don't know, I don't really, like, dig Fish. It feels like they're playing for themselves more than the audience.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't
Yeah, well,
the Gov't festivals either.
You know the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so Warren Haynes was the lead guitarist in the Allman Brothers.
Oh.
For many years when they got back together, and then Gov't Mule was an offshoot sort of from that.
I had no idea.
I don't want to sit and geek out on Gov't Mule, but like Matt Apps, the drummer, was worked with Dickie Betts, who was one of the original guitarists from the Allman Brothers, in his solo project. And then Alan Woody and Warren Haynes were bassist and the guitarist in the Allman Brothers. So they sort of formed out of the Allman Brothers themselves. So, they definitely have that sort of Southern blues sound. And they like to play a long time, like the Allman Brothers. They'll sit and jam a song for 20, 30 minutes.
Well, it still might be it's fun to go to travel with like a goal.
Yeah.
You sign up for something,
Yep. Yep.
I'm going to hike the Blue Mountains.
Yeah.
It's not like that high of a peak, but
Yeah.
I'm into going to other countries and hiking mountains.
Nice.
Yeah, really like hiking mountains. Not like some level 5 mountaineering. You know, I'm not doing any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like a good steep walk
Yeah. Nice.
with the pack on my back.
Yeah, I really like doing the hills at Fritz Levin, like the hills themselves. I like walking uphill. It's another kind of walk for sure. Yeah.
I seem to be attracted to jungly environments.
Yeah.
I seem to do well and just end up in dense flora
Sure.
environments.
So you've been to
Thick moss where if civilization left for 3 days, it would just take over and you'd never ever tell there was
yeah.
a human trace.
Sure. Yeah. You've
I
been
like
to
those kind of environments.
Central South America at all, or
Yeah,
Hawaii?
that's, I mean, for sure. Central America, Mexico and Costa Rica and Honduras. Spent a lot of time in Costa Rica.
Nice.
Also lived on the southern island of Japan, the most tropical island, Kyushu, for a month.
Wow.
Did some hiking in the jungle, very jungly. Spent a lot of jungle time.
Well, you are quite the globe trekker.
It's
My
my favorite
goodness.
thing to do.
Yeah. How many countries you been to?
I think just 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Australia, Japan, Costa Rica, Mexico, Honduras.
Okay.
I
Lots
still
of
have a
traveling in the
whole
U.S.
lot to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Haven't been to Canada.
haven't been to Canada.
Oh. Not much of a fisherman, though, huh?
I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, I wouldn't turn down
Oh,
a
man,
fishing
that's-
trip to Canada, that's
Yeah.
for sure. It just hasn't landed in my lap.
Yeah. Well, yeah. To me, that's like, oh man, it's it's right there, being in Minnesota. Yeah.
Oh, I have been to
there's
Canada. I went to a music festival up
Okay.
there. I went to I think it's Winnipeg. What the
Yeah,
heck
the
is
Winnipeg Music Festival.
the music? Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. You're right.
Okay.
I was barefoot for many days.
Nice.
The border of Canada is stringent.
Yeah.
It's the toughest border I've ever had to get through.
Really?
Yeah, Canada. Yeah.
Huh. Expand on that at all, or?
I don't know. Of all the
No, they're
other
just-
countries I've been through, they don't like search in your vehicle and very just
Very
scary
intrusive,
in a
huh?
way. It's like scary. Like
Yeah.
I've never had the feeling of like the intimidating like security guard patrol like making me nervous thing. I've
Yeah.
never had that
Yeah.
crossing
And
a
you're
border.
just traveling for fun. You're not even doing anything.
No.
You're just like, oh my God, is he gonna find fruit?
Well, I
was
mean,
there a banana in the back seat?
it definitely makes. I mean, you can't bring
Yeah.
anything because it's such a. I think hard border to get through, but
Imagine that.
yeah, I tend to like Central America. I spent 2.5 months there for a massage school in 2012. That was really cool. Yeah, lived in Japan because I love Japanese food so much. Just decided to just go there and eat it. And now everyone is like, let's go to the sushi place, let's go to the sushi place. And then they're like, is it like Japan? How is it? And want my opinion, I'm like, this two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, you go in there, there's an aquarium in the front. You pick out what you
What
want to
fish,
eat,
yeah.
and it's on your plate in 10 minutes. Like
Wow.
trying to crawl off your plate.
Yeah.
It's just fresh. It's just so fresh.
Yeah.
So fresh. I got 3 when
wow.
I was younger, 19. I got EDS checked, and had like 3 parasites from raw fish. One sitting in my liver or whatever, just from whatever. I loved sushi from 16 to 19.
They weren't overly invasive and causing problems.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I ate at every sushi bar
Yeah.
multiple times in the Twin Cities, and
Well, in Minnesota, it's either got to be cooked or
2 days flash frozen.
Yep, 2 days.
It's not any
frozen.
fresher. That's the
So, yeah.
freshest it's going to be.
Yep, exactly.
So went to Japan. And did parasite cleanse or whatever. Did all that. Checked. Again, they weren't there. Later on in my life, went to Japan. Came back, got checked. Nothing. Not one parasite.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything in fish that's going to be overly invasive. It's not like pork or bear or,
Yeah, well, humans are full of parasites.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
and some of them wreak havoc on your system, and some of them don't.
Yeah,
and everyone's system is
the
different.
gut biome.
Yep.
We have bacteria in our gut that we need, but
so everyone's system is different. I mean, one person's body will not love, and it won't do anything for another body.
Yep.
I mean, every single body.
Absolutely.
Is so different.
Yeah.
The next trip that I have actually planned is to Colorado, and it's in May. So I have, career and business-wise, and, a new thing going on for me in my work that I have never done before that I'm excited about, and it's something that's, pushing me. Mm-hmm. It's something that's pushing me to be the practitioner that I want to be. So I need that. We all need that.
Yeah.
So I teamed up with 2 other practitioners. One is a psychic, and one is an expert with healing your body through food, like a nutritionist. Mm-hmm. And we have teamed up together and formed a collective called Remedy Retreats. And the 3 of us women are offering our first, it's going to be 2-night, 3-day, all-inclusive retreat in the mountains about an hour south of Denver. So it's open to 18 women. Future retreats will be co-ed. This one just happens to be around Mother's Day, so we're just keeping it open to 18 women.
Sure.
And there'll be a big welcome ceremony with amazing swag bags on Friday, and we'll probably have yin yoga. We'll be having yoga every day. We'll have meditation every day. And then on Thursday night, it's 4 days, 3 nights. Thursday night, welcoming ceremony. Friday and Saturday, 2 full days, where each practitioner will also be giving 2 seminars. Mm-hmm. And just based on what their expertise is. And then there's built-in time to hang out. There's complimentary mineral bath, salt bath included with the resort. It's like an organic, vegetarian-based type of food. And then we'll be having a closing ceremony on Sunday. But I'm excited to see, bring together all the women that sign up. And then for me, the other girls that I'm teaming up with, they do seminars and have classes all the time, and I really don't.
Sure.
I used to do that more in St. Cloud. Mm-hmm. I teamed up with some other practitioners, and we led something called the Best Cleanse Ever, and that was really successful. But since then, I really haven't, and so it kind of got me thinking, well, what the hell am I going to talk about? What am I going to give a seminar on, right? Mm-hmm. And so that led me to just recently, at the end of October, I enrolled in the Institute for Integrative Nutrition to become a board-certified wellness coach. So in the past 2 years, the AMA has created a governing collective that is now setting up standards for wellness coaches. And if you pass one of the schools that they have deemed up to their standards, then you can apply to sit for the board exams, and if you pass, you will be board certified and get an insurance code. Yeah, which is my profession is the alternative health profession is basically all out of pocket, not covered by insurance.
Yeah.
So that can be a really big deterrent for people.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this kind of gives me, I feel like this, if they're board certifying this, they must be recognizing that what a wellness coach does is just teach people how to live a balanced life.
Sure.
Or so and doctors don't really have time to teach people about how to eat or look at
Preventative medicine.
well, that, and like one of the big things that you do is you got to look at your whole life as your primary plate. So you've got your career, relationships, money, spirituality, all of those, exercise, body, all of those things are actually on your primary plate. And what wellness coaching really is addressing what's on your primary plate, because if your primary plate's out of balance, no amount of fucking kale is going to get you skinny.
Yeah.
Like it's different than what you think. You think your food, what you eat, is your primary plate, but it's not. It's all those little areas of your life that need to be in balance.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
either way, wellness coaches, I mean, they help with your primary plate, and they look at the person, clearly like a little more as a whole, and they have the time to do it. And then they help people with nutrition for sure. And basically we just go with a whole food recommendation. Don't make it hard.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be hard. Food shouldn't be hard. We've been eating food for eons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Shouldn't be a difficult thing.
Yeah. It amazes me how many people think like eating healthy is difficult, and it's like it's really not. I mean,
don't eat anything in a package.
One of the ways that I first started really eating healthy was finding things that I didn't have to cook. So I would eat celery and peanut butter,
right?
Greek yogurt, peanuts, cashews, fruit, like that became my easiest way to figure out a better diet was, instead of eating out or just slathering a sandwich together, it was like, how can I eat good foods and not have to prepare anything? And I tell you, that makes it so much easier than trying to figure out meals, like dishes to prepare. And I'm a freaking chef, and I didn't want to have to figure out meals to prepare to eat healthy.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah. Ultimately, like what I ended up doing was like looking at like food as fuel, and I eat for pleasure. I ate for pleasure for 30 years, or near it anyway. And what it got me was obese. So I started looking at food as fuel, and then like you can enjoy a meal once in a while, like I get to still, I don't deprive myself of the things I love, but I don't eat every meal for enjoyment. I eat most of my meals for fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I do that too.
No.
Kind of, I guess, naturally.
Yeah.
So, I'm doing, in the springtime, around when this retreat is, I'll be a certified wellness coach. It's just kind of an umbrella to what everything I already do in life, all the hats I already wear. So that kind of fit. And then, so the 2 seminars that I'm giving one is going to be on loving our liver, because according to Chinese medicine, the springtime is the time for the liver. It's the time to love your liver. It's the time when the liver is detoxing. It's the time to support your liver. So I'll be doing one seminar on loving our livers. And then the other one that I'm going to talk about is this message that I really feel people need to hear about using their bodies as tools, and why it's important to pay attention to your feelings, using your body as a tool to help you gauge where you're at in your mind, changing the thought or belief that you're buying into, changing the feeling in your body.
Nice.
Yeah. So I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to convey that message, but I'm sure I'll pull it off.
Yeah.
But it's like a deep subject, and it's something that I've been really working on the past.
Yeah.
I mean, probably like my whole life, but seriously, in the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
Is paying attention to how I feel, and then going up to my head and looking at what belief I'm buying into that's making me feel like that. And if it serves me, keep it. If it doesn't, change it.
Right. Yeah.
And it just kind of goes along with that whole freedom in your mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you think something's going to be red, it's going to be red.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
choose to see it a different way, and you have that. You can choose to see it however you want to see it, and I think we, as a society, have gave these definitions to words that are meaningless, and then we use those, and then you automatically think that anger is bad, when actually we made that up. Society made that up. It doesn't have to be bad.
right?
If you think it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. If you think it's going to be good, it's going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a natural reaction sometimes.
It's just an emotion.
It's an emotion.
Just like as valid
Yeah.
as happiness or joy. It's
sure.
the same. It's
Yeah,
just an emotion.
yeah,
Seeing things for what they are is crucial.
yeah. So you do like any mindful meditation, or is that part of your practice at all?
I listen to a lot of meditations to fall asleep,
Okay.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or to just like, I really like dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
So
Really?
whatever I can do to put myself in.
Dreaming.
Yeah, I really like
Yeah.
dreaming. Yeah.
See, I don't dream very often, but when I do, I have like weird, unpleasant dreams.
Do you want to talk about it?
No. no. Like they're just weird. I end up like dying, or I'm like running away from aliens, or like the whole scene just doesn't make any sense. It's like, why am I, on a ship butchering cows? This doesn't make any, it's just always obscure, and yeah, they're not pleasurable. I've had other friends that were like, yeah, like talked about these amazing dreams they have, and I'm like, but I guess maybe it's just like one of those things, like how people react differently to drugs. People react differently, I guess, to dreams too. Like,
That could be.
you know what I mean? Like some people just don't like weed or alcohol, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, I've smoked weed, but I just don't like it. Like I've dreamt and I just don't like it.
Yeah.
So thankfully it doesn't happen very often.
That's
at
what it
least.
sounds like. I think I dream a lot. So I don't. So no, I don't. When I got back from Costa Rica, I had like a meditation practice for a couple of years, and that's the only time in my life where I have kept it up like that. So, I mean, I'll listen to meditations and go through, chakra opening meditations and visualizing stuff. But that's kind of fun too. It's kind of fun to go places in your head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they,
Acknowledging the thoughts.
and they kind of like guide you through,
Yep.
depending on the type of meditation that you're doing. That's just fun. It's just fun letting your mind explore,
Yeah.
your imagination explore. I think that's I think that's fun. I think I like to do that on a regular basis too. I like daydreams and dreaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, daydreaming I'm okay with. I can control it. I don't do much of that anymore, for sure. I feel like I occupy my time pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely busy. For sure. I see clients during the day, and I do wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Roundhouse, trivia, coaching CrossFit.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. How much sleep you get? Meh.
7 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're doing fine.
Yep.
No, wow. Well, good for you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I am excited for May, and I am excited for this retreat, and that whole thing kind of like pushed me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm kind of thankful for that motivation.
Mm-hmm.
RemedyRetreats.net is the website for that. And
this is
descriptions
again?
on classes, it is May 7th through the 10th.
May
I
7th through the
believe.
10th. 18 women.
Mm-hmm.
It's open too. And it's going to be outside Denver, you said?
An hour south of Denver. It's at the Sun Mountain Spa Retreat
my.
Center.
It just sounds luxurious.
It'll be nice with the backdrop of the mountains, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not sure if I'm going to Jamaica before then or after. I might need to make money and then go to Jamaica.
Right.
Maybe that's how it'll work out. But you never know.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely never know. It can just come up for me and I'll go.
And who are the two women that you're doing this retreat with? And what are they doing?
So
If you know
one
it all.
is a psychic paranormal Sarah.
Oh,
And
yeah, I know her.
Do you?
Yeah, she's come in here several times.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah,
She's
she,
probably got good taste in food.
Yeah, in fact, I should have her on the podcast too. I didn't even think of that. She was wondering about doing like readings here and stuff during an event. I want to
Nice.
do kind of a pop up here for small business, especially places that don't really have a home businesses.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
And Erin Toll, she lives in Houston.
Okay. And she does.
She uses food to heal your body.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, she would be a person, I would send a client to her that was like a mysterious client.
Sure.
Like maybe a client that doctors couldn't really figure out, but they just got this 40 pounds that they just can't lose, and no one can, and they've tried everything and blah, blah. Mm-hmm. That's an Erin client right there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. She'll do a
Nice.
panel. Yeah.
Nice.
She'll look at whatever she thinks she needs to look at, but
Word.
yeah.
Excellent.
Erin's one of my best friends from a long time ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
from St. Cloud. We used to share my office together.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's in Houston.
Oh. And she like it out there? Down there?
Yeah, she does.
The heat.
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think at
Texas
heart,
people are a different kind.
I do think at heart though she's a Minnesota girl.
Yeah?
And she'd come back.
Yeah? If she had to.
Or if she wanted to. And
Yeah.
could finagle it in just enough time passed
Right.
where she missed it, or
What brought her down to Houston?
her husband.
Ah. They meet online or something? Or did he get a
No,
job?
they had been
then?
married for many years.
got a job
and then
down
he
there.
got a job down there because he's
Yeah.
a teacher.
Sure.
And it's just
You
better
go where
down
it
there.
goes, yeah. Go where the
So-
work is, for sure. Yep. Well, all right. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Or keep talking until you finish that beer? Or?
I'm fine. I can probably drink it quicker if I'm not talking. There's always that.
Right. Well, we can be done if you want. All
That
right.
sounds fine.
All right. Well, thank everybody for listening. I'll make an intro to this later. Anything else you want to plug really quick? You want to give people your website again or
My
anything?
website is corehealing.us. Core Healing is one word. My office, like I said, is on Barbo Road. I don't take walk-ins, but you can schedule online through my website if that's easiest.
All right. All right. Thank everybody for listening. Thanks for joining me, Britina. And we'll see you again.